Thanks for staying with us. Now, Marco Pierre White returns with a brand new food critic, celebrity chef Rachel Allen, for the latest series of The Restaurant, which is returning to TV3 this week.
Laura went behind the scenes of the launch to find out which celebs will be feeling the heat in the kitchen. Let's have a look.
Rachel, you've been unveiled today as the brand new judge of the series of The Restaurant, and so exciting too. You're entering into a sort of an iconic TV show at this stage because it's its 13th season.
It is. It's amazing. I know. I was really happy to be asked, and we're having a really good time filming. It's great. It's a brilliant show. I mean, I've watched it for years.
I'm so intrigued to find out how the chemistry is going to be between yourself and Marco. I would imagine audiences will think sparks are going to fly, but you both have such an intense appreciation of food. You're on the same team.
Oh, we definitely are on the same team. He is really fascinating when he speaks about food, restaurants, and slightly mad, which is good, which is always good to have around the table.
A lot in common.
We've got a lot in common. No, he's great.
What are you bringing to the table in terms of your expertise, and what are you looking for specifically?
Very good question, Laura. I suppose, well, I definitely have a lot of empathy for all our cooks, for all our chefs in the kitchen. It's not our celebrity chefs, you know, it's not their career. They're all doing something completely different. And so I am definitely very mindful all the time when I'm sitting at the table, having a lovely time, being wined and dined and being critical, actually keeping in mind not to be overcritical. This is not their career. But seriously, they have all done so well.
What's the standard like? Be honest.
It's very good. It's very good.
Ciara, one busy lady. I can't believe you're taking on yet another project, but a very exciting one at that. How are you in the kitchen?
Glutton for punishment, obviously. I'm not bad in the kitchen because I cook anyway at home. I like cooking, but I'm certainly no chef. Do you know what I mean? I would say myself, I'm a cook, but I'm certainly not a chef.
Now, with the medical background, people are going to assume you'll be cooking something extremely healthy, but do you indulge in the kitchen? Is that your time to let go?
My menu has cream and butter and sugar. It is a menu that it's not Operation Transformation, it's more Operation Stuff Your Face. Do you know what I mean?
I know you're not allowed to tell me a huge amount about how filming went, but one thing I will say is I interviewed Marco last year, and he said 9 out of 10 times he can tell whether it's a man or a woman. Not in the taste, but in the presentation.
Well, that's very interesting because he got that wrong.
I love that you're giving us a bit of a hint. So he got it wrong. He's not always right.
No, I'd suggest he's not always right. I'd love to get my hands on Marco and give him a critique sometime. But anyway, there you go.
Paul, I've always known that you had a love of fine food, but I never realised that you could actually cook.
Well, there you go. Musicians are often great cooks, and they often share recipes as well on the road.
What are the judges going to be expecting from you then on The Restaurant? Do you have a preferred style of cuisine?
I love Italian. I love Indian for sure. I don't really go much for Asian, Chinese type stuff. You know, when we were discussing designing a menu, the guys were saying, well, look, you know, you want to kind of up your game a little bit and do something a little bit more higher end, because don't forget, Marco Pierre White is a 2 Michelin star guy. You've got Rachel Allen. You've got these amazing chefs. So what I did was I went to a very, very classic menu, and I thought I was playing safe, but the reality was that I was actually, you know, thinking I wasn't being competitive. I was by going up against classic dishes.
So have you put more hours into the kitchen then since you started on The Restaurant? You enjoy cooking?
I do, yeah. I put on the apron a bit more all right at home.
I'm sure they'd be delighted to hear that at home. Now, Nuala and I have known each other for many years, but not once have we ever had a conversation about food, Nuala Carey. A lot of conversations about where we're going to eat and where we're going to go on afterwards, but never actually about you cooking. So can you cook?
I can cook, but I would never have the confidence to invite somebody to my house and cook for them.
Like Marco Pierre White?
Yeah, exactly. I'd be more like, do you want to book? And we'll go to Marco Pierre White's restaurant. Yeah. So this is why it was completely out of my comfort zone, and it was a challenge. I felt as well I might learn something. So you've got 3 master chefs helping you in the kitchen. So I thought, well, I'll pick up a few tips at least. When you read my menu, you may not necessarily be blown away, but I would hope then that the diners and the judges, when they taste it, will be blown away.
But there's a reason why so many of the classic dishes appear year after year in restaurants around the country, and in fact globally, because they're popular, and they retain their popularity because good food doesn't have to be fancy. It can just be good, solid food.
Well, that's true, and I do know that Marco Pierre White, if you served him up beans on toast, maybe I did, maybe I didn't. As long as it is the best beans on toast he has ever had, he isn't going to score against you. So I think it just has to be a very high standard.
And of course, one of my favourite TV chefs has joined the gang this year. Rachel Allen is going to be one of the judges, and she has a great empathy, I think, for the people in the kitchen. So I'm sure she had your back.
Yeah, that's true. And Rachel, like the other judges, is never going to be, mean to you. They will always find some good thing in any dish. So, yeah, she was very kind, as was Marco Pierre White and my guest chef as well. I think you have to give people credit for trying something new. There was a little bit of pressure to deliver on time. At the end of the day, whether I got no star or 5 stars, I didn't need to go out the next morning and try and knock on the door of a restaurant and look for a job. So I said to myself, I'm not going to take this too seriously. I'll give it my best shot, and whatever happens, happens.
So dinner in your place next time then?
No problem.
Great, we're all invited.
But I'm only serving up the dishes that I think were my best.
So 3 desserts.
Toast.